Here's how you can start a coffee company with only having $300. This is the day in the life of a 32-year-old fella who forgot to record an intro. Typical Riley. All right, when I started Welch Coffee Co, I didn't have a lot of capital. I didn't have a lot of things, but there's one thing I did have, is creativity. What I mean by that is I used what I have to create something out of nothing. I guess I'll start off with my story. I started my coffee company less than, I think it was $200, excluding getting a private label from my supplier. So I'm taking that out of it, where I still have my own branding, my own coffee line, where now I roast more and help other creatives have their own blend. But when I just started out, I reached out to a roastery, private label the blend. If you don't have that cash, that capital just yet, don't worry, you don't need to have that. You can get a wholesale coffee bag. If you're just starting out and you already have the coffee, there's a few things that I feel like you have that you don't realize you have. If you love coffee in general, most likely you'll have a grinder, you'll have some sort of espresso machine, whether if it's a small Breville or another brand, you can use that. You don't need the big fancy espresso machines. Don't get me wrong, Frankie is amazing. I love Frankie. And it definitely helps me, but for just starting out, you don't need that. Case in point, this is what I had. What's going on, creatives? This is episode 2 or 3. Anyways, we are making some progress on the coffee cat. I had a simple Breville that I bought off of Facebook for $200, but this is like a few years ago. I already had this in my repertoire. If you already have something like this, use it. Then I had a Bowden grinder that I still use to this day for my decaf, and that was $20. Got off of Facebook. If you want to include that, you can start a coffee company with a less than $600 or $500. Let's say you love coffee, you already have an espresso machine, you already have a grinder. Literally, that is your biggest expense. Because right now, what you should be doing is focusing on pop-ups. Ton of pop-ups. I had at one period when I had my card, I did 55 plus pop-ups. I want to say 70 to be conservative in the span of 8 months. You can make money with what you have. Use what you have. There's no point of investing in something that you haven't made a dollar in. Use what you have, slowly upgrade. So, lesson 1, use what you have, simplify your approach, and save your cash. So, cart, you have your espresso machine, you have your grinder, you have the basics of coffee, and you invested in a wholesale bag for coffee. What's next? Where are you putting your beans? Where are you putting your equipment? All right, so, don't mind me, I gotta label some cups. Where do you put your machine and your, oh, that's upside down. Where do you put your machine and your grinder and all that stuff? What did I do? Again, went to Facebook, looked for an old IKEA kitchen island, something small, and remind you, you don't need anything big. Depending on what your car, if you do have a car, make sure it fits. Measure twice, cut one. Because what you want out of this is, can everything fit in your car? Can everything just fit tightly? So I went on Facebook, I searched for kitchen island, and I got a kitchen island for, I think it was $110. I think it started at $130, talked it down to $110. And then I just had a simple setup, link here, so that. And I luckily used what I had. My dad is in construction. He is the entrepreneur of the blend. Shout out to Reynolds by Bill. He, from his old job, he had siding from a house, but it looked like a vibe. We used one sheet of siding from a house, and we literally chopped it up, measured twice, cut once, how are you? And then we put it on the cart. We used chalkboard paint, because the original idea is to write the menu on there, but once we painted the front, we also just kind of liked the vibe of it, so we left it for that. So right now, just a checkpoint, we have our machine that we bought years ago, or we have our grinder, same thing with the espresso machine. Now we have our cart that we bought off of Facebook for $110. Trust me, you can find your own deal. You can find whatever. You can find anything on Facebook or Temu or Wayfair or wherever you can find it. Find something that's relatively cheap that you know you'll be upgrading later on. So right now you're sitting at $120 invested because you already have the machine. And then maybe you want to get the coffee. Depending on where you go, wholesale pricing go anywhere between $65 to $100, depending on what kind of bean you use. Let's say 75. So right now you're at $185. Right then and there, you can start. And what I did when I get cups, you can either go on Amazon, get a cups like these, which has lids, sleeves, and the actual cup for like 30 cents per unit. And I think you get 100 for like $40 Canadian. So what does that math? Sure, $215 with your machines, stand, and then your cups. Next thing you know, you might need milk and run you. If you're in Canada, get bagged milk. It is cheaper. So that's like $5. And if you want to get almond milk or oat milk, go to like a Dollarama, go to like Metro, maybe get one carton and see if that works. But at the end of the day, you could start a coffee company with anything and make money. Your initial investment could run you anywhere between $220 or even a little bit more. But the basic is $220 around there. You can start a coffee company and start pitching. Because mind you, when it comes to marketing, Instagram is free, YouTube is free, TikTok is free. That's your marketing. Focus on that. Post daily, post often, have a brand story. This is for a different video, but have a brand story so it's easier to reach out when you go to businesses, reach out through Instagram, because when you pitch people, they want to know who you are. And then once you're posting daily, they look at you and like, oh, so this is an actual coffee brand. It would be more acceptable, more like, oh, okay, so this guy actually does coffee. So let's do a pop-up. Think about where you're pitching. Think about who your target audience is and literally just go towards that. That's all you need. Just start a coffee company. Congratulations. Let's make you the first dollar. If you have any questions about starting your own coffee company, about the entrepreneurial journey, you're not alone. Comment down below. All right? See ya.